And thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Bobb.
And I'm Alexandra Burnley. Local animal shelters and organizations constantly deal with overcrowding of homeless pets and limited resources.
Well, now a dozen of them are joining forces to help tackle some of these big-time issues. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer tells us about the brand new Northwest Arkansas Animal Alliance and how it's already making a big impact.
The demand for our services is greater than ever before.
Kayla Mays, executive director for Big Paws of the Ozarks, says the challenges in the animal welfare space are pressing.
We're really seeing a crisis across Northwest Arkansas with lack of spay-neuters and seeing lots more puppies than ever before in unwanted litters. And then we're also seeing kind of an epidemic of owner surrenders.
It's why Big Paws and other rescues and shelters created the Northwest Arkansas Animal Alliance, aimed at giving everyone a space at the table.
I hope that it will be a way for our shelters and rescues to better support our community members and find some new ideas, not be scared to try something new.
Members from these 12 organizations will now meet every month to collaborate and share resources, including Fayetteville Animal Services.
We're here to hopefully get these pets into homes or help get them back into their existing homes. So anything we can do collaboratively to help that is wonderful.
And Humane Society of the Ozarks.
Can all have the same conversation about what can we do to better the situation that's going on in animal welfare, but just also knowing that we're not alone.
They've also started a community portal where shelters can all be in the loop with what's happening instead of someone calling multiple organizations for help with an animal.
So we had somebody reach out recently that had some puppies that needed help, and they filled out the form, and one of the other groups grabbed it and ran with it.
They believe that these issues can't be solved by just one organization, and collaboration is key.
There's always a seat, here with us and trying new things, new ideas, or just sitting down and having some camaraderie.
Covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
The Alliance hopes to expand to smaller and more rural rescues and shelters, as well as advocacy groups to make sure no animal is left behind.
All right, let's go outside. Right now, looking live over Rogers tonight. And wow, if you got outside, even to just walk to your car, you probably thought it was March or April because, Scott, it felt amazing out there.
Felt fantastic, record-breaking heat today. Things are changing, though. As we look ahead to tomorrow, temperatures are going to be dropping into the upper 40s, which in of itself is warmer than what you would typically find some of those overnight low temperatures. But today, lots of sunshine. Tomorrow, we're going to see a few more clouds out there, maybe a break or two in the clouds, but generally an overcast day. Lunchtime temperatures, Northwest Arkansas, mid-50s. Probably not going to get a whole lot warmer than that. In the River Valley, also looking at a decent amount of cloud cover. Lunchtime temperatures nearing 60. Probably not going to get a whole lot warmer than that. We've got a cold front that's starting to work its way through the area a little bit this evening, but it's a tricky cold front. I'll explain more why it's so tricky, what it could mean in terms of rain chances, and then we're looking down the road to a return of winter. Not only do the temperatures start to drop, but maybe we're going to be looking at another round of wintry precipitation. New 10-day forecast straight ahead.
Thanks, Scott. A triple murder trial is happening this week in Madison County. Jury selection began today after 4 years of delays. Hunter Chenoweth is accused of killing 3 of his family members in 2021. He's charged with capital murder, and he could face the death penalty if he's convicted. Today, trial attorneys started considering 50 prospective jurors to be seated in his trial. Prosecutors accuse him of shooting and killing his mom, Tammy Lynn Chenoweth, his stepdad, James McGee, and his sister, Cheyenne Chenoweth, at a home in the Wesley community of Madison County. Once that jury is seated, prosecutors say that trial could take a couple of weeks, with dozens of witnesses scheduled to take the stand.
New at 10 tonight, Fort Smith School Board has set out a timeline to find a new superintendent. The board tonight approved accepting applications through February 20th. Dr. Terry Morosky announced in December he will be moving to Texas, where his wife was selected to be a superintendent. The district is working with a search firm out of Nebraska that will conduct a nationwide search. Dr. Ken James with that agency told the board these next 2 weeks will be very busy.
The proof in the pudding is we got to bring you quality candidates. That's what you want, that's what you expect, and that's what we want to do. We can do it in a 2-week period of time, 2.5 week or whatever, but I mean, we're going to have to really get after it to do that process.
District says it hopes to have a new superintendent selected by the middle of spring to start July 1st.
Tomorrow in the Arkansas Capitol, the Senate is set to consider the Bell-to-Bell No Cell Act. It's the legislation the governor endorsed earlier in the year. The bill would regulate cell phone use in public school classrooms across the natural state. Earlier today, the Senate Education Committee advanced the bill to the full Senate, where it's on the agenda for tomorrow.
Some big-time changes coming to high school football this fall, not only across the country, but right here in Arkansas.
5 News reporter Parker Abels explains some of those new rules announced by the National Federation of High School Associations and how some coaches are reacting.
After a 3-day conference in Indianapolis, the National High School Football Rules Committee announced a few new rules in the game, many of which are equipment-based. From the mouthpiece,
can't have anything attached to it or an adornment hanging off of it,
to arm sleeves.
If it has a substance on it that enhances contact with the ball, then it has to meet a certain set of criteria.
And players are no longer allowed to record video or audio on the field.
We actually had people across the country that would bore out a hole in their helmet and hide a GoPro in their helmet, or wear an earbud in their ear in their phone behind their hip pad, recording stuff for TikTok.
The most impactful rule change on the field deals with a forward fumble that goes out of bounds. Bentonville head coach Jody Grant says he agrees with it being changed.
If an offensive team was to fumble the ball forward, they could benefit from that. And so now it's a spot foul as far as where the fumble goes, occurs at, where the spot should happen. That's something that I've always kind of been an advocate for.
But one change that didn't happen that many coaches wanted: in-helmet communication between coaches and the quarterback. Steve Robert, chairman of the committee, says he believes there isn't a need for it yet.
We don't have a huge sign stealing problem. They're not hiring engineers from MIT and Georgia Tech to come in and try to decipher signs.
However, Greenwood head coach Chris Young says he disagrees.
With all the games being live streamed right now, normally by both teams, you're seeing signal stealing and things like that really coming on. And, there are a lot of ball games this year. We'll signal play in and we're hearing the other team yell what we're fixing to run.
I just think it cleans up the game a little bit and eliminates some, mental mistakes that are occurring that maybe you don't see at the higher levels.
However, at the end of the day, Robert says he just wants to make sure they're making the best decisions for the game he loves.
We have to make sure that our rules protect the game, protect the participants, and provide with the best opportunity for everybody.
Covering news where you live, Parker Abels, 5 News.
So if you want to read more in depth about these new rules, just go visit 5newsonline.com. We have them posted there. A Day Without Immigrants happened today. It's a social movement where the Hispanic and Latino populations do not shop or go to work or school for a day. The idea is to paint a picture of what communities would be like if immigrants were not there.
We need to support each other as a community. We need to stay together as a community. And for us, seeing a lot of businesses here closed and a lot of responses from the immigrant community, it is pretty, it gives us hope that this is just the beginning of a larger movement that we hope to grow in the next months and years.
The Springdale School District says they had a 30% absence rate across their campuses today.